Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto. Thank you for joining me again once today. All right, so let's get to this video here. We've got Bitcoin with a head and shoulders pattern in play. We've gone down pretty far. Looks like we are going actually to test the neckline, it looks like here. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The volume signature here is pretty distinctive, pretty bearish, pretty negative, which is good. First things first, though, we kind of had some recent interesting action in Bitcoin, and unlike what I usually do, I've been looking around, seeing what some of the other people on YouTube and Twitter are doing, and a lot of them got really bullish over here, and I really didn't understand why, to be quite frank with you. Now, I know the price is rising, and I know even I had a conversation about, hey, if this trend line is breaking here, it could be the start of us going back to the upside. Because as I said in that video, this is good for a low. This is good for the low in the right side of the larger inverted head and shoulders pattern. But this bounce, however, if you guys were paying attention, was on very, very low volume. It was on very low volume comparative to all this red volume. So it didn't work out. It was held down by this 50-period moving average. So far, this has been holding and actually has been the overall theme to this move. I mean, really, when you look at it here. So we broke out of this cup with handle here, bounced off the 50 period, tested the 50 period, broke the 50 period, and reversed trend immediately. So this 50 period on the 2-hour chart is proving to be quite strong resistance or support, depending on which side of the line it's on. And right now we're pretty decent. We're pretty far below the line. So we're holding to the downside here. Something else I want to point out to you that I noticed a little bit ago. We have a measured move here, okay? We have a measured move here, and I teach you how to draw these in my trading course, which isn't done yet, but we have a measured move here, which takes us, again, right back down to that 8,750 level, almost exactly. Now, I don't need to do it to the penny, but as you can see here, those two lines coincide extraordinarily well. So far, it looks really likely that we're going to head lower here and hit that downside target. Now, what I want to point out to you is that when we hit this downside target, everyone's looking for this thing to reverse up, and we're going to get, this big type of a move because the left shoulder did it, so hopefully the right shoulder does something similar. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope that happens. But at Real Crypto, we talk about reality, not about pleasantries. So the reality of the situation is this. Any pattern has a probability to not play out. Okay, any pattern has a probability to not play out. There are statistics, at least from the stock market, in terms of inverted head and shoulders patterns playing out, not playing out. I will note that I have seen variances between the stock market and cryptocurrencies in terms of certain patterns working and certain patterns not working. Now, I just went through the textbook, which is Bulkowski's Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. You can find a link to that in the description there if you're interested in picking that up. It's a little expensive, but it's a huge book on chart patterns, and it's super cool. Now, what it says is that these inverted head and shoulders patterns, when properly formed, only have like a 3% failure rate. They actually work 98% of the time. It's quite ridiculous. So the next question is this a properly formed inverted head and shoulders pattern? And I will say it has its flaws. While there are no hard and fast rules over how this needs to look, okay, there's no hard and fast rules about how this needs to look, he does talk about the volume. And the volume should be declining from the left shoulder all the way to the right shoulder. And actually, we're seeing the reverse of that. We're seeing an increase in volume, okay? Now, I guess it depends how you want to interpret that. As you can see, we have these spike areas where obviously this spike isn't as high as these two, but at the same time, we've seen a much broader sell-off over here than we even did over here. Okay, over on this shoulder, you see the volume on the right side of this shoulder was very low, and the volume on the right side of this head dropped off fairly quickly. The volume in this most recent sell-off has been sustained, and it's fairly high. It's actually overall quite a bit of selling. So we'll see how this plays out in the pattern. There's no hard and fast rules, but this is a flaw to this inverted head and shoulders pattern. Now, point number two. well, not really point number two. This is really something else. If you plan on buying this 87.50 spike low, if you have an order placed, if you plan on being there live when it happens, I'm not sure what your personal strategy is to this. And I don't have one yet. We'll see. I mean, if it looks like we're going to spike lower, I may stay up overnight to try to catch this low and see what happens. We'll see what happens when we get down by that level there. But if you catch this spike low, if you've never bought a spike low before, it can be extraordinarily dangerous. Okay, it can be extraordinarily dangerous. One thing I want to push you guys to is I've got a video that I'll try to put on a card on the screen right now. That's a link to my video titled 10-22 is in the title. If I don't put the card up there, if I forget to, go to my channel, search for 10-22. In the description, I've already put timestamps so you don't have to watch the whole video. There's 2 timestamps. There's one that gives you about a minute and a half low before it starts to move up, and the second one is only a few seconds before it starts to move up. I put both timestamps because I watched it from the original one and I thought it was pretty cool how there was a big lull, then it just started to spike up. You want to see something like that, okay? Something like buying in that particular video if we're going to get a spike up. We don't have to get a spike up. That it doesn't have to happen that way. But a lot of these Bitcoin bottoms tend to have that spikiness. Like, look at this left shoulder. That's spiky action. This head, not so much. This head, not so much. It actually held down here for several hours. There were 6 hours down here towards this low level. Or maybe 5 hours. I don't know the exact time frame. But it wasn't a spike up. This one may spike. I don't know exactly. Now, the fact that we're kind of grinding down towards it, we're not really spiking down. Maybe the December 22nd video doesn't come into play here. But if you want to prepare for that, if you want to see what a big spike up in Bitcoin looks like, go check out that video. That video was actually this spike low right here. Okay, in my video, we catch it. I mean, I catch it all the way. It's like a 2.5 hour long live stream that I was doing. We catch it from this 10,400 level, and it spikes all the way up here to this 12,000 level in seconds. Seconds. Okay, so if you want to catch that out, either way, it's good. It's good watching either way, and you get to see me scream a little bit because it was 4 in the morning and I was kind of emotional and exuberant. So you want to see real crypto excited? Go watch that video. Anyway, we can spike down here. We can grind down here. Either way, I need you guys to have a trading plan, okay? I feel a little responsible in the fact that I pointed this out to you guys, and I would feel very responsible if you guys took a big loss in case this failed. So keep that in mind. I feel a little bit responsible in this manner. So please do that. Please do your due diligence. Please know your exit strategy. And as we get lower, maybe I'll put a couple levels out there for you guys. So, all right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we're going to go down and hit this head and shoulders level, at least according to the technicals in the chart. And hopefully we get down here and it plays out to the 18,000, but there's a chance that it may not. So just keep that in mind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here today. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.